we'll make a start. Okay, so as I said, I'm Miss Lady, I'm Head of English, and I'm going to tell you as much as I can. Thank you to the person who said you can hear me, thank you. And I'm going to tell you as much as I can about A-level English literature at Prendergast in the next sort of 13 or so minutes. So you can see the three components plus coursework on my slide at the moment, and I'm going to talk you through those components in a bit more detail in a moment. But first, what I want to say is that we have an extremely strong team of English teachers here at Prendergast. All of them are subject specialists, and all of them love the subject. And actually, they will want nothing more than in the classroom to talk about books with you. So you can see that we follow the EdXL course in the top left-hand corner there. And we've gone with it because it's a really exciting, varied, challenging course. And we particularly like that it's structured into very logical units. And that's quite simply drama, prose and poetry. You can also see, I've put at the top left there, that you'll need at least grade 6 in both English language and English literature at GCSE to get on the course. And one thing I want to clarify now, because I always get lots of questions on it, is that we don't actually offer English language as an A-level. So our literature course is, it's really about writing about texts rather than creating your own descriptive writing. And our approach as a department is that we really want you to explore text together in the classroom and on your own, researching them outside of it, to have loads of opportunity for discussion, to really develop your own ideas and think about what the text means individually to you, and then to get the opportunity to write about them. So let's just have a look then at the components in a bit more detail. Right, okay, drama. So you'll sit 3 exams at the end of year 13, and the first is the drama paper on your 2 play set texts, and that's Shakespeare's Othello and then the mid-20th century play A Streetcar Named Desire. I'll just clarify, because there's always 1 or 2 people who get a bit confused. Drama within English literature does not mean the same as the practical subject drama. We're not taking you down to the drama studio. It really is referring to the study of a play text as opposed to prose or poetry, and we would read that play together in the classroom. With Shakespeare's Othello, we take a really long time over it. It's brilliant, and you'll study it alongside a critical anthology. And in that critical anthology will be loads of academic critical essays written by kind of some of the leading critics on Shakespeare, writing in the 20th and early 21st century. And that's really brilliant. It's a real step up from GCSE, and it means, as well as engaging kind of with your own ideas, looking at what others have had to say about it as well, and possibly using them to support your own ideas, or even, and it's a very high level concept, would be to take a critical opinion and to actually explain why you disagree with it. That would be a really brilliant thing to do. And Streetcar is, as a more modern play, it's particularly rich in symbolism and really exciting for the different interpretations of the protagonist's character. It's always a hit with students. Moving on to prose, you'll see that the prose unit has a short 1 hour 15-minute exam at the end of year 13, and in it you write just 1 essay. The essay will be a comparison of Heart of Darkness, which is an 1899 novella, and the Trinidadian writer Sam Selvon's 1956 novel, The Lonely Londoners, about post-war Caribbean migration to Britain. And we teach these prose texts through the lens of colonisation and its aftermath. So that's kind of particularly decolonisation and the immigration that came as a result of it. So with The Lonely Londoners, that's particularly then looking at migration from the Caribbean to the UK. It's a really, really interesting study, and actually I have to say feels kind of particularly pertinent in 2020 with the BLM movement. Our third component, the examine component, is poetry, and we've got a really varied range of texts for you. So section A is an anthology of post-2000 poetry that looks at contemporary issues in society today. So these 20 poems then, 21st century, they cover themes such as childhood and what we lose as we grow up, gender, truth and lies, death and illness, violence and criminality. And as well as learning as well as studying those poems individually, you'll also be skilled up on how to compare the poems with an unseen. And on the day of the exam, you'll be given an unseen poem. They will then give you the option of 2 of your taught poems to compare with it, and you can choose which one you want to compare with the unseen on the day of the exam. The second section is on pre-1900 poetry, and currently we're studying English Romantic verse, so that's quite specifically then the period of the late 1700s and early 1800s. So you get a really good breadth there, kind of across the centuries of poetry. In year 15, you'll complete the coursework unit. It's an independent study of 2 texts which you'll write about comparatively, and the essay is 3,000 words long. So this year's year 15s are writing about The Handmaid's Tale and Arthur Miller's play The Crucible. And as well as exploring ideas and analysis which will be really familiar to you from GCSE, they're also linking the text to their social context. That's both the context in which of the year in which it was written and also in which those texts are set, and they're engaging with academic criticism as well. The independence is they absolutely choose their own questions. They are writing an essay on the theme that most interests them. So some of them are choosing power, some of them are choosing theocratic governments and the oppression that sometimes can result from that. Some are looking at rebellion, some at the presentation of women, but it's absolutely independent, and they are going down the focus that they find really, really exciting. And actually that study is really, really good prep for university. And speaking of that, I wanted to point out that actually English literature is a really brilliant A-level to have, whatever you go on to study later. So universities will value it very highly. They know that if you've studied English literature, you'll be really skilled at constructing arguments and at essay writing, and that will stand you in very good stead. One other question I do sometimes get asked by students at open evenings is whether a student does need to know reading to take the course. And actually, I do think that's quite an obvious yes as an answer. It does really matter. So the text, you'll be reading every lesson and outside of it in preparation, and reading quite widely around those texts as well. But it is a really, really exciting course, and I would absolutely suggest that you think very, very carefully about signing up to it. It's really great. Can I ask, if you do have any questions, that you pop them in the chat for me now, and I will do my very best to answer them. So I'm going to keep an eye on that chat to see if any come through. And just while I'm waiting to see if they do, I was just going to show you, in terms of how you might learn in the classroom and what to expect in the classroom. I think it's really obvious that would happen through class discussion, and I've put academic writing on there as well. But also you could absolutely expect to be asked maybe to take part in a research project and then make a group presentation on your findings. It may be, whether it doesn't matter if you're not a big fan of drama lower down the school, don't worry about that, but it might be that you do a small group read of a section of the text and think about different ways in which a line could be delivered. Certainly in non-COVID times, we've run plenty of theatre trips for sixth formers, and we can't wait to resume those as soon as we're allowed to. And the other thing that we've done is last year's year 15, we were able to take them to university-style lectures on Othello. There was a lecturer from Warwick University and one from Oxford who delivered some really, really exciting undergraduate level lectures on the text. And I know that the students found that absolutely invaluable for their essays. So I'm just looking, there are no questions yet, but if you do have any, please do pop them in the chat and I will do my very best to answer those. Okay, there don't seem to be. I'm happy to end the presentation here and give you a 3-minute rest before you start the next one. And this presentation also should be recorded if anything is unclear or if you wanted to go back and find it on the website at a later date. All right, have a really good evening, everybody. Thank you very much.